this evening and to share a devotional. Now, some of the members of this class, which I know way too well, have been talking about bribery. And they bribed me to keep this message short. And there was even one occasion in which they bribed me not to preach at all. But I'm here. I'm sorry. They asked me. I'm here. But I'm going to do both. I'm going to bring a rather short devotional this evening. For you see, I've only brought one question with me, and it's a question that I'd like to share with the class of 1989. Oh, all the rest of you that are gathered here, you can help answer this if you want to, but it's really a question for the seniors here this evening. It's a simple question. As you go forth into life, and you know, life begins when we finish this evening, right? As you go forth in life, will you carry an umbrella? Now, I want you to think about that. That's your question. We'll give them a test on it later on. Will you carry an umbrella? Now, this past week, we have seen those beautiful and sometimes ghastly items that we call umbrellas. And this morning, if you were out and about at the bright hour of 9 o'clock, you needed one. You needed one made out of metal that bounced the hail off. But I want you to think for a moment this evening, to stop and to reflect on whether or not you will carry an umbrella. Now, all of us have probably heard at some time about the worshipers in a church that had gathered for prayer meeting. They were having a drought situation there in that community, and they gathered to pray for rain. But not one of them brought their umbrellas. I like that illustration because you have to be prepared for the answers of prayer. As you, this class, go forth, will you be prepared for the prayers that are answered? You know, an answer sometimes is yes, and sometimes it's no. Will you carry an umbrella? If you're praying for rain, will you carry it? But when you carry an umbrella, something happens. Robert Louis Stevenson said, the umbrella affects the atmosphere. If you carry one, it doesn't rain. If you don't, it does. If you're carrying umbrellas, maybe it says something about a religious barometer. Maybe it'd be best not to carry one at all. That is, if you get just the opposite of what you want in life, if you carry an umbrella. That's what Stevenson's implying, that if you carry one, it doesn't rain. Now, I went to great tasks to find out information about umbrellas, since I was going to talk about them this evening. And in the history of umbrellas, you didn't know there was such a book, did you? Seniors, have you ever read that book, The History of Umbrellas? I can tell by their looks. No, not at all. We may have to test that here. The umbrella at first was used as a parasol to counter the sun long before it was used as protection from rain. In ancient civilizations, the sun was the enemy and the rain a friend. As you go forth carrying an umbrella, will it be used to fight off friends? Or will it be used to fight off an enemy? Waterproof umbrellas were slow to gain popularity, though, thank Jonas Hanway for putting the umbrella to use during a rain. But even in that very simple act of putting out his umbrella, he was criticized. The religious folk of the day criticized him for defying the heavenly purpose of rain. And the heavenly purpose was obviously to get people wet. And so consequently, he defied it by an umbrella. My question to you tonight, will you be those religious people of the future? That when you see an umbrella, will you criticize those people? Or will you be a Jonas Hanway who carried an umbrella even amid the criticism of his own day? Over the years, the umbrella became a symbol of prudence. It became a symbol of protection, of security, of safety. And when you think about it, it's rather safe underneath an umbrella, isn't it? It keeps you nice and dry. And there's a sense, a feeling of protection. In the hints to the bearers of walking sticks and umbrellas, there are categories of umbrella users. There's the shield bearer, the one that sticks their umbrella up like this. Or there is the sky striker, the one that walks around like this. Or there's the mud scooper, the one that carries their umbrella down like this. Or the inverters, the one that carries it back like this. On a rainy day, you can see all of these people around, and especially making their way to a church door, charging blindly, lancing the heavens, slinging mud, and poking themselves with their weapon. You might want to call them umbrella Christians. How will you carry an umbrella as you venture forth into life? And will you be ranked as one of the umbrella Christians as you go about life itself? But there's a big danger if you carry an umbrella. At a conference discussing the reluctance of church members to risk doing creative things, a participant got to the very heart of the matter when he said, "We don't want to part with our umbrellas." When you're underneath an umbrella, it's safe. And to be creative, you have to put them down so that you can explore the vastness of life. If there is to be a meaningful experience, there ought to also be a sign that says, "No umbrellas, please." Oh, it's too bad that my generation and all the other generations before you cling to our umbrellas. We hold them ever so tight as the clouds gather around us. And we wisen up like prunes. Oh, we're safe under the umbrellas. We find our security there, but we are far from sound. To this class this evening, will you tonight leave an umbrella? That umbrella has been called the school. It's been safe, it's been secure, it's been dry, and it's been pretty. And for some, it's even been very easy. But as you venture forth tonight, will you leave the umbrella? Or will you put it aside? Will you put it aside? Will you become the creative people that the world needs? Will you become the adventurers? Will you carry out your motto that you've listed so boldly? Will you be the ones to walk where no one else has gone and leave a path? You See, it's a rather simple question, and yet there's so much involved in it.